Good evening, I'm Deborah Knapp. First at 10, firefighters in trouble. Tonight, members of the New Braunfels Fire Department are on paid leave, accused of damaging a local hotel. We sent Eyewitness News reporter Henry Ramos to get answers. He joins us live from New Braunfels City Hall. Henry, what have you found out?
Deborah, in our inbox this morning, a tip from a viewer about this alleged incident. So we went to the city to dig into these claims. Well, tonight we've learned an investigation is underway. As in regards to the details about what happened, you're about to see the city isn't saying much. Early April, New Braunfels firefighters were at a hotel, and what happened? Well, the city is calling it an unfortunate situation. The city manager, Robert Camarino, telling KENS 5 damage was done to the facility. The city went on to say it took immediate action and launched an investigation into the incident. Per city policy, the personnel of the fire department were placed on paid administrative leave during the investigation. So many questions we want to know. Exactly when did this happen? Where? How many firefighters are on administrative leave currently? Were they under quarantine at the time of the incident? Estimated damages? Were police called? We got this back attributed to the city manager. This is a confidential personnel matter related to an ongoing internal investigation, and as such, these additional details must remain undisclosed at this time. The city went on to say pending the results of the investigation, disciplinary action may be taken based on the level of responsibility. The New Braunfels mayor and members of the council we contacted declined to discuss the story, saying they're unable to comment on ongoing investigations. The New Braunfels fire chief referring all questions to the city.
Henry, what's being done about the damages at the hotel?
Deborah, the city says it worked quickly with the hotel to address those damages done at their facility and is still trying to determine the liability. And the fire union also telling us tonight, really the only thing that they told us is that they are aware of an incident involving several of its members. And Deborah, there are a lot of rumors circulating about these firefighters and what they are accused of doing. Tonight, we're still trying to determine which, if any, are true. Reporting live tonight in New Braunfels, Henry Ramos, KENS 5 Eyewitness News.